ABC has just announced here that they will be preempting the very well-known show Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. That's
Jimmy Kimmel's late-night journey has hit an unprecedented rough patch. ABC has put Jimmy Kimmel Live on indefinite hold, sending shockwaves through Hollywood and sparking a nationwide debate about the limits of comedy, commentary, and accountability on live TV. In response, Kimmel has been scrambling, issuing half-hearted apologies and pleading for a second chance, hoping to return to his primetime spotlight. The controversy erupted after a monologue in which he addressed the recent passing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. What began as what Kimmel likely intended to be sharp political commentary quickly backfired, coming across to many as tone-deaf at a time when grieving friends, family, and supporters were still mourning. The backlash was immediate and intense. Political figures even joined the chorus. Former President Donald Trump took to Truth Social to revel in the controversy. In a post that spread like wildfire, he praised ABC for acting, labeled Kimmel talentless, cited low ratings, and issued a warning to other late-night hosts about the consequences of missteps. The tweet's biting tone turned the incident into a full-blown national debate. ABC acted fast. In an unusually blunt move, the network announced Jimmy Kimmel Live would be suspended indefinitely, with no set date for its return. For a show that had anchored late-night television for more than 20 years, the sudden halt was jarring. Even ABC's own affiliates, including Nexstar Media, voiced some of the strongest opposition, highlighting the internal tensions the decision had ignited. Nexstar Media Group, which holds a significant stake in ABC affiliates nationwide, released a sharply worded statement condemning Kimmel's remarks. The group called his comments on Charlie Kirk's passing offensive and insensitive, noting that they clash with the values and viewpoints of the local communities its stations serve. Continuing to provide Mr. Kimmel with a broadcast platform in these communities is not in the public interest at this time, the statement read, explaining that preempting the show was a necessary step to allow for cooler heads to prevail and to restore constructive, respectful dialogue. Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division, added, "We strongly object to Mr. Kimmel's recent remarks and will replace the show with alternative programming across our ABC-affiliated markets." The announcement carried weight far beyond words. For a network dependent on affiliate coverage and advertising revenue, the move by Nexstar and other station groups to pull the show represents a substantial and tangible blow. ABC's own brief declaration, "Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely," underscored the severity and open-ended nature of the suspension. The suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live sent shockwaves far beyond ABC's boardrooms, igniting an immediate and intense reaction across social media. Platforms like Twitter and Instagram erupted with hashtags such as #SuspendKimmel and #accountability, trending for hours as viewers weighed in on the controversy. Many criticized Kimmel's remarks as being poorly timed and insensitive. One user wrote, "You can be funny without being hurtful. This is about timing and empathy." Another emphasized the limits of free speech, commenting, "Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences, especially when someone's family is mourning." Yet, not all reactions were one-sided. Some commentators expressed concern over the broader precedent set by the network's rapid response. "Comedy needs room to challenge ideas, but compassion matters too," one tweet read. "This is a wake-up call, not censorship." These conversations highlighted a delicate tension between holding public figures accountable and preserving creative freedom in late-night television. Media analysts and cultural commentators quickly weighed in, framing the suspension as a potential turning point for the genre. One widely circulated editorial described the move as a watershed moment, suggesting that the era of politically charged monologues delivered without careful context may be coming to an end. Another critic noted that advertisers, already cautious amid a highly polarized media landscape, were re-evaluating their commitments within hours, creating financial pressures ABC could not ignore. Behind the scenes, ABC executives were reportedly in near-constant consultation with affiliate groups and advertisers. Programming teams scrambled to fill the late-night slot, relying on reruns, special features, and other stopgap measures while the show's future remained uncertain. Insiders pointed out that Kimmel's contract extends through 2026, adding another layer of complexity to the network's decision-making. Every move, from affiliate negotiations to advertiser reassurance, has been closely scrutinized, leaving Jimmy Kimmel Live in a state of limbo as the industry, audiences, and media observers alike grapple with what this moment means for the future of late-night television. The indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live could extend for weeks or even months, and there is no certainty that the show will return in its familiar format. Jimmy Kimmel himself has remained largely silent beyond the controversial broadcast that sparked the uproar. Sources close to the production describe the atmosphere behind the scenes as tense and fraught with uncertainty. Writers, producers, and crew members, many of whom have dedicated years to the show, are left questioning how far-reaching the consequences of decisions made at the network level might be and whether their own livelihoods could be impacted. This episode is far from Kimmel's first encounter with controversy. Over the years, he has cultivated a reputation for blending comedy with sharp political commentary, a style that has drawn both praise and criticism. While some audiences admire his willingness to confront pressing social and political issues head-on, others argue that late-night television should primarily offer lighthearted entertainment. Compared to hosts like Jimmy Fallon, whose programs lean heavily on celebrity games and playful segments, Kimmel has consistently waded into the deeper, often more contentious waters of political discourse. This approach, however, makes him more susceptible to swift and intense backlash, an example that became painfully clear with the fallout from his recent monologue. The suspension of the show highlights the precarious balance that late-night hosts now must navigate. Audiences are more fragmented than ever, expectations for sensitivity have risen, and social media has the power to turn a single segment into a nationwide debate overnight. At the same time, networks operate under constant scrutiny from advertisers and affiliate stations, all of whom must consider the views and standards of local communities. The stakes are high, and the pressure to act decisively can leave little room for nuance. Industry observers are already noting the broader implications of Kimmel's suspension. Some predict that networks may impose stricter guidelines on live monologues, potentially reshaping the creative freedom traditionally afforded to late-night hosts. Others caution that overreaction could stifle the very essence of comedy and commentary. This isn't about silencing comedians, one commentator observed. It's about understanding that, when tragedy strikes, words carry real weight, and audiences expect compassion before punchlines. For now, Jimmy Kimmel Live remains on hold, its future uncertain. The controversy has become a case study in the modern late-night landscape, where humor, politics, and empathy collide, and where the repercussions of a single broadcast can reverberate far beyond the studio stage. As the days stretch on, viewers, advertisers, and industry insiders alike watch closely, aware that the resolution, or lack thereof, could redefine expectations for live television in the years to come. ABC now finds itself navigating a highly complex situation. The network must balance appeasing key affiliates like Nexstar, keeping advertisers engaged, and determining if, and how, Jimmy Kimmel can return without reigniting the public backlash. Loyal viewers who once tuned in nightly for a blend of humor and headline-driven commentary are left questioning whether Jimmy Kimmel Live will ever return in its familiar form. Over the past decade, Kimmel evolved from a host primarily known for celebrity pranks and lighthearted comedy into one of late-night's most politically engaged voices. Around the 2016 U.S. election, he began integrating pointed commentary on issues such as healthcare, gun legislation, and electoral politics into his monologues. Many praised his candor, highlighting moments like his emotional speech about his newborn son's heart surgery, which sparked national conversations on healthcare policy. However, as these serious monologues became a regular feature, some longtime fans felt the show had drifted away from its original mix of sketches and quirky humor. Audience surveys and Nielsen ratings show a gradual decline in total viewers beginning around 2018. Analysts often attribute this to political fatigue. Viewers seeking escapism were increasingly turning to lighter programming or on-demand platforms like YouTube and podcasts. Compounding the issue, Kimmel occasionally faced controversies outside politics, as old comedy bits and past sketches resurfaced, many of which critics now label insensitive. These moments contributed to the perception that the show had shifted from mainstream entertainment toward a more polarizing cultural space. Supporters argue Kimmel was simply adapting to evolving times, while detractors contend that the increasingly serious tone blurred the line between late-night comedy and opinion journalism. Meanwhile, the late-night television landscape has fragmented further. Younger audiences increasingly consume short-form videos and streaming content, leaving the traditional TV audience smaller each year. In this environment, any high-profile controversy can accelerate viewer attrition. Analysts note that Kimmel's suspension landed at a particularly vulnerable moment, where hosts must work harder than ever to retain viewers, amplifying the suspension's impact. Whether Kimmel ultimately resumes his hosting duties or this moment marks a historic turning point in late-night TV, one reality stands out. The line between edgy commentary and unacceptable insensitivity has never been so fine. In an era where audiences can instantly react and mobilize online, every word carries weight. Even a seasoned host with a decades-long career is now just one misstep away from a potential industry-wide reckoning.